Hey guys, and welcome back to the podcast. So it's episode number 2 today, which is exciting. And we're going to basically do a little bit of a Q&A. So we had a few questions in over the weekend. So yeah, it's going to be like a bit of an informal chat. Some of them are like bodybuilding, competing related, and some of them are just pretty normal questions. So
Just random questions. Like I put an NGL question box up, and I just get some really weird questions. Some of them I'm definitely not going to be asking on the podcast, but there were some that were relatively appropriate for this podcast.
do you get really random ones, right? Like I get ones, I'm sure this is a bot, I don't know. I get ones like, when was the last time you cried? When was your first kiss? I know what you did, but I get the
Yes.
same ones every time I put a link on.
Yeah, all the time. And I get like I get some not threats, but like I don't know how to explain it. Like they'll just say this person's gonna do this to you, or
Oh
did you
God.
do this because of this? Like really random, just like really odd.
Oh,
But
weird, aren't they?
what I'll just do is if I just keep getting them, you can pay like £1.99 to actually see who sent them. Like
Okay.
even though it's like anonymous, like
Oh my God, I did not know that.
yeah, you can still pay to see who sent them. So and you can pay, and once you pay, you can see every single person,
No.
like even past, not present.
Oh my
So
God, I really want to do that.
just to see who sent certain
That's
questions.
brilliant.
Honestly, I would, but I also can't be bothered to do it at the same time.
I want
You
to see some of the ones that, because me and Will did that podcast together. I want to see some of the ones that got sent on that, because some of them were
know,
like
because some of
full
them were
on.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what people want to hear, though. They do want to hear the
Um,
juicy stuff.
I
But
know. I
you know what?
know.
Our podcast, we got quite a few views last time. We've had like a
Yeah.
total of like 400 views on our podcast and
Yeah, I
listen.
can't believe that. And also, like, loads of, well, quite a few like tags and shares and messages. So yeah, I was really, really pleased with
Thanks,
that.
guys. Because I
Yeah.
was surprised. I was like, yeah, we'll get like 60 views.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, we can build upon that. And then I kept checking because once I post something, I religiously refresh it like
Yeah.
hour after hour after hour. And I like kept seeing the numbers go up and kept seeing tags. And I was like, oh, I was like, this is cool. This is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
exciting.
clearly, what we
Sorry.
said.
I was just gonna say we've got loads of content now because we did that Q&A box.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is basically do full episodes on some of the questions that got asked as well. Now we've got some kind of ideas, inspo
Yeah,
type
on what you
things.
guys want to hear. So how's
Yeah.
things with you this week? We'll do a little update. How's your
Little
mini cut? Because you're mini cutting still, aren't you?
Yes. So I've got 2 weeks left. I'm not gonna lie, I've had enough
That's a
now.
quick one.
I know, thank God. 6 weeks. So you know when it's not prep and you're mini cutting, you're like, why am I doing this? No,
You
I'm
know what?
joking.
I find mini cuts so much harder. I think it's because like it's so much more aggressive, and like
Yes,
the
it
end
is.
goal is not like show day, and you're just like, I'm just doing this to do this. Like I do find it a lot
Yeah.
harder, in my opinion.
This is the first time I've mini cutted in like years and years and years, because the last two times I've dieted have both been like prep. So yeah, it's fine, but my weight is literally on a mad one. So like, it dropped loads and then it like came up a bit and then it came back down and now it's like come back up again. So it's just on like a bit of a mad one, but I definitely feel like I'm dieting, but I've got 2 weeks left. So I had my check-in with Dan the other day and he was literally like, oh, it's all right. You looked all right anyway. I was like,
Well,
great.
thanks. You do sometimes just need to kind of like well, you said your appetite was literally
Yeah,
like
it was
on
shot.
anyway. So to just, it was probably like a good call. It was more so just that now you're in the diet, you're like, I want food.
Yeah, literally. So now I'm like, okay, just get these next 2 weeks done and then back into off season. But yeah, I worked out my start of prep date, so I put that in my diary today. So
Is
that's
that a
exciting.
secret?
Nah, it's not a secret. It's the 20. Actually, let me just check my calendar.
That's exciting.
It's the 27th of May. I know, I
That's
can't wait.
exciting. That's not long.
I've
January,
got,
February, March, April, May. That's three
yeah.
months. That's not long.
Well, I've got 2 weeks left of mini cutting, just under, and then I've basically got 13 weeks before of like back into off season before prep
Yeah.
starts.
That's good though.
Can't
That's
wait. What
exciting.
about you? How's prep going? How long have you done now?
It's literally 2 weeks today. It's gonna be on the dot, like every week. It's going to be like, because I started prep on a Monday. So every time we do the podcast, it will be like on the dot, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. To be
had
fair,
your check-in today?
no, I have I'm checking in twice. I think my weight's a bit stubborn like yours as well, and it was last prep. What it does is it drops and then it just stays the same. And it stays the same for a while, and then it drops again, and then it stays the same, and then it drops again, and then it stays the same. But it's really difficult because like you want that linear drop down, especially when you're like just like, right, I've got a show at this, I need to be ready, like I need to. So my weight, so when was it? So when I started prep, I literally went on my period, so my weight shot up, and then it went down by a pound. Then literally within 2 days, it went down by 2 pounds. And then now it's literally stayed the same after like 4 days and extra cardio. So I'm currently on 35 minutes every day, fasted cardio. My food's still all right. Like I genuinely like hunger isn't an issue. The only time that I'll have hunger is, let's say, for example, my meal timings are slightly off and I don't eat for like 4 hours, 5 hours rather than like 3 hours because my stomach's just like, it's time to eat now. But energy level still really, really high, still really enjoying cardio. I genuinely, like, it's as simple as it sounds. I'm literally just eating slightly less and doing the exact same and a little bit more expenditure. Like nothing, if you feel preppy 2 weeks into a prep, then you've done something wrong in your off season.
Yeah.
I find it funny when people, obviously on here, because obviously you guys want the updates. Obviously, I'm going to give you the updates, but I've already had quite a fair few people asking me, going, "How's prep going? How's prep going?" And I'm like, not much.
The same.
Happened. Like, I really don't know how to update you apart from I'm eating less and I'm doing 30 minutes of cardio every day. Like, I don't really know what else to say, but I feel like I have to say more. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like to detail, and I'm like, genuinely, like, I'm all good. Like, I feel good. Ask me that in 10 weeks time and I may have a different answer for you.
See what the podcast is going like when you're like back end of prep.
You know what, I'm excited to go back to my YouTube videos and back through these because I had a group posing session yesterday, and quite a fair few of my clients were like, your face, you already look so much leaner, like what's like your face, how have you lost it on your face, blah, blah, blah. And some of them are in prep and they're like, I haven't lost anything off my face, like you're so lucky. And I'm like, well, you're not, but like I'm not, because imagine me in like 8 weeks time, crackhead. I'm a crackhead. I honestly hate
but
crap face.
some people just get skinny faces, don't they?
It's honestly, I look back at photos and it's pure disgust. Like my eyes are outside of my head. That's how bad it gets. But I mean, I'm not hating on the jawline just yet, but I know I will soon.
Yeah, I think my face goes really bad as well. I look like a skeleton.
You get these lines here, don't you?
Oh,
yeah,
I get like saggy skin here around my jaw where my face has gone so sucked in that I'm like,
you're like in here, yeah. It's actually hilarious. Some people genuinely do get, like Reese, for example, me and him both just get literally like shredded on the face straight away.
Yeah.
Like it just goes there. Some people are on stage, body shredded, still got chubby cheeks.
Yeah.
And I'd rather that, in my opinion.
Yeah, same. Well, I like it when I lose a bit of face chub, but not like
when people ask
I look
me, are you ill? No, I'm not ill. I'm just dieting.
overly dieted.
But it's exciting though that you're finishing time and that you start on prep soon. We'll be both prepping. Like we'll have a crossover.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Excited. We'll be really excited. Shall we any other updates, or shall we go on with some questions?
That's it, to be fair, nothing exciting, really. Did actually go to a cool new gym on a Saturday. I went to
EP gym.
God, is that what, I can't get the name right. I don't know if it's called Elite Physique or Jungle or what, I don't know.
You know what?
That one
there was like loads of people there that same day. Like George Osborne went there, Wiki went there, then there was like loads of other people that went there literally on the same day that you went there. Was there something going on in Manchester or what? Because there was
I've got no idea. I didn't go.
Maybe they went just after.
Yeah.
but
maybe.
how did you
Well, it was
find
good,
it?
didn't it? Yeah, really good. Nice gym. Took us ages to find it because it was like hidden away, but the kit was really good. So yeah, that was fun. So I'll definitely be going back there. I'm gonna go and do some filming actually. I've got some YouTube stuff, so I'm gonna go and get some like a session filmed there, I think, in like mid-March.
Oh, nice. That'd be cool. I think Reese has been there
So
and
I'm
he
excited
said it
about
was really good and he really enjoyed it. Like seeing it on Instagram and stuff, like it looked really good. And I see a lot of people actually training there that I follow and stuff. So it must be decent.
Yeah.
Right.
Good
Should
gym.
we ask some questions? Should we start with a light-hearted one first?
Yeah, let's just alternate, and basically we've got to be fair, a fair few, so it depends how long we like chat for, but if we get to a point where the podcast is like stupidly long, we'll just cut and we'll do a part 2 next week.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go first or shall I? Because
You go first. Go
all
with
of
one of
mine
your
are just
ones.
like okay, shall I just ask one that's really, really silly? Okay. First question. We're gonna start off with a really, really good one. Have you ever gotten into a fist fight? Have you ever gotten into a fist fight?
Is that actually a question?
Yeah, I promise you now it's a
I'm
question.
not a very aggressive person.
No, I'm not. I'm more talk. Like I will be confident and I will just be really sassy and like just chat and argue and just be really loud. But I've never ever thrown a punch. I've almost been punched, but I've never thrown a punch. And I don't think I'd ever like to get into a fist fight, won't lie.
No, I'm not aggressive or confrontational, so we'll avoid confrontation at all costs.
See, that's where I'm slightly different. Like I don't like confrontation, but I don't run away from it.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get better.
What, you're trying to start fights?
No, I'm not trying to stop fights. I'm trying to
Stick up
not
for
be
yourself.
more confrontational, but just like stand up for myself a bit more.
Yeah. Have a backbone.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
good. I feel like you need that though. I feel like, especially when you're a business owner as well, you do have to be in charge sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
Going to ask the one about bodybuilding and categories, because this was quite a good question actually. Sorry, let me just actually find the question. So the question is, I print screened it. What's the main difference between bikini and figure classes, and are there specific areas or muscle groups that the judges look at? Do you want to answer, and then I'll give my take?
Yeah, sure. So they all have a very different kind of look. So bikini, if I was to kind of just generalize it, obviously you have less muscle, less dense tissue. You focus more on the delts and the glutes and the hammies in that kind of aspect. The level of conditioning isn't as much as figure. What was the other one? Figure and wellness.
Yeah, just figure and bikini.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the level of conditioning, if you're going into it with PCA, it's very hard because there's so many categories, but bikini is very similar to toned figure conditioning, but it's very different to athletic figure conditioning, as well as muscle mass. So bikini, I'd say, is like smaller, slightly less conditioned, mainly stage presence, delts, glutes, and hammies, and a lot of fullness, like really, really, really full. Figure is then really, really based off structure, a lot more muscle, and a lot more condition, basing that off of athletic or like IFBB figure. And then wellness is obviously your lower proportion is marginally bigger than your upper body, but the conditioning is the same as bikini, as well as the fullness. That's how I would say it. Like,
I agree.
It's hard to explain without any photos.
Yeah, I also think as well, it depends what fed you're going for. Because if you look at like NPC, for example, obviously the hair covers the back. So, the back is not going to need to probably be focused on as much as like your delts, for example, and your glutes, like glutes and hams are going to be very dominant.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at like PCA, your back
Overkill.
your back is still going to be important. So it really depends on the category. And I think with sort of the figure as well, it is generally, isn't it, like more muscle, a little bit leaner, kind of more muscle density, like X frame type thing.
Yeah. I mean,
versus
X frame is
bikini.
in everything. Like X frame is in everything, but
Yeah.
in a kind of literal manner, figure is what I would say. Like, I mean, it does go in levels. It's very similar to like male bodybuilding. It goes physique, then it goes classic bodybuilding, open. So it's the same. It goes bikini, then it goes figure, then it will go physique, and then it will go bodybuilding for women's. And it does definitely go up in size.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dan always said to me as well, which I thought was a really like cool way of putting it. If you're not sure what category, like pose and see which pose you look better in, because you'll get like some girls that can cross over quite well between like train bikini and figure, and they can kind of fit in both pretty well.
Yeah.
So it depends. Like if you pose in bikini and you look stupid, like you're probably not going to be suited towards that. So I think when you get someone in the pose, you can kind of see which one they fit better into as such.
And it also depends on your timeline. If you're like, so this is what a lot of girls actually do ask me, like they go like if they come to me not knowing like what category they want to go in, but they want help with posing, like I'll put them in like the 2 different poses, and I'll go, but actually what's your timeline and where's your heart at? If their heart's at figure, but they're not big enough for figure, but they want to compete this year, I'm like, wow, you can't, because you're not there yet, so we're going to put you in bikini poses. But if you're not rushing to get on stage and you're willing to grow into the category that suits you a little bit better, then I'll put you into that. But it does also depend on kind of like, if you're like not got enough tissue for it, for figure, for example, but you're determined to compete in July, then I'll just straight up say to you, no.
Yeah. No.
No, like you're not there yet. But you have a lot of girls can really, like, if you've got structure, a lot of the time you can transition very well, but you just have to make sure that you have enough tissue for it.
Yeah. And I think as well, like just looking at like what the judges are looking for. So I did a webinar at the weekend, and they were talking about, I was like partaking in the webinar, and they were talking about you know, categories and how to fit categories and how to train for certain categories and stuff like that. And a point they said, what I thought was really good, was that it's about finding the look that works best for you, not like molding yourself to look like someone else. Because if you look at like toned figure winners, for example, me and you, or like you and like take like Shannon White that won
you're all so different.
Like she was very, very dense, like very like heavily muscled, like looked absolutely phenomenal. But like if you look at her compared to last year and the year before and the year before, like everyone looks so different in the same category. And it's not always, for example, the leanest person that wins. One year it might be, and the next year it might not be. So it's like what suits you best, So some people suit a fuller look, some people suit a leaner look. So it's like finding the best that you can be for the category that you're in, rather than just trying to look like someone else, because it's not, you know what I mean? Because it not
different on everyone else.
Yeah, it's like if people get on stage, who looks the best, who fits that category the best, that will win essentially. And that comes down to obviously your physique, but also then how you present yourself, like how you are posing, like your makeup, your hair, like all of that will tie together as well in terms of like what the judges are actually looking for on the day.
That's actually like a really good question as well, because it's a very asked question that I get on my SFP community is, does the hair, does the makeup actually matter? Does the bikini actually matter? And in hindsight, as Dan Welburn would say, is the judges don't fucking care.
Yeah.
However, if you're wearing a color that doesn't suit you, and if you're wearing a contrasted eyeshadow color, and if you've got your hair in a ridiculous kind of way, it's not going to tie the look together. So does it essentially matter? No, but you need to be presentable, and you need to present yourself in a way that is aesthetically pleasing on stage.
And if you've got two people who are very, very similar and the judges aren't sure in terms of physique, obviously they're going to go for the one that presents themselves that little bit better.
Yeah. So does it matter? No, but does it? A little bit. Yeah, it does. Like if you know a color really doesn't suit you, don't get that as a bikini. Or like, for example, like, I don't know, like I feel like neon colors are really like ballsy. I feel like some people can pull it off, but some people shouldn't try to pull it off. Like sometimes you've just got to like tie that all together. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at another one. So, let me have a look. So you might be better at this one. This person says, I've got dodgy knees and it makes it hard to go heavy when training legs. Tips on how to still get good results.
This is a really good question. So if it's literally like based on weight and not being able to move heavy weight, obviously you don't necessarily need to do more weight to progress. There's so many other ways of progressing. So you could, for example, Will has really bad knees and he just has to go really high rep on everything. So he still trains to failure, but it's just everything is super slow. Like
that sounds disgusting training. Like I know like train to failure sounds disgusting, but high rep slow tempo training for me scares the shit out of me more than just heavy. And
I hate high rep leg training. Horrible. Yes. But yeah, basically like 20 plus reps on leg press. So, nice. But there's other ways of progressing. So, you could do, for example, like high rep, and then you wouldn't have to push the load like excessively high in order to still like provide a stimulus and grow and push to failure. So you could go high rep, you could slow your tempo down. You could do things like, for example, band your sets to add kind of, more resistance to them. You can add like intensifiers like drop sets and rest pause sets. So there's loads of other things you could do to still provide that stimulus to grow, because at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter, whether you're adding more load or you're slowing your tempo. As long as you are pushing and progressing in some way, you're still going to grow that muscle.
Yeah.
So, and some people respond really, really well to high rep like leg training or high rep training in general. So I think with that, like, you could still go lighter and just find other ways to still progress with those movements.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also think like if you've got dodgy knees, you need to ask yourself why you've got dodgy knees. Like, is your form on point, or doing something that, is there something internally wrong? Are you getting it checked? Like, focus on, like why it's happened in the first place, and then kind of make sure that you don't do it again. Because if you, let's say for example, it's your form and you're not going as heavy, but you're still having really bad form at a lighter weight, like you're still probably going to be fucking your knees up. And if you've got dodgy knees, you want it to try and get better, and you need to know what's causing that issue as well.
Also with that, just make sure like you're getting blood into your like into your tendons, for example. Like do some biking or something to like get your blood flow better before you go into, like, don't just turn up for the gym and like go into your sets. Like, make sure you warm it up properly. I did things like, so I got tendonitis in my hamstring right when I did my first prep, and I couldn't do any hamstring curls for like 2 years, and it was the worst thing ever. And I know that's why my hamstrings were like so awful. Like, I feel like they're underdeveloped compared to the rest of me, because I couldn't train hamstrings for like 2 years. So I had to do loads of like isometric holds, basically really light, just holding the weight to like, before I did anything, to like increase blood flow, because obviously like tendons don't get very good blood flow anyway. So it's like increasing the blood flow, so you're not just going into like a heavy set.
Yeah, warm-ups are so important. Like usually I'll tend to do like 3 to 4 for the first 3 exercises, and then start to like reduce it down as like I get on and on and on. Like, you just don't want to cause, like, most of the injuries that I hear are caused by just people being really silly, rather than anything actually being like, like, I don't know, like tearing a pec with a really heavy bench press. Like, a lot of them don't actually happen like that. A lot of them happen for something so silly.
Yeah, my client, I think she'll listen to this actually, so I don't think she'll mind me saying this. But she is really, really strong, like trains super hard, like is competing at the end of this year. And she's really strong, right? She trains really well, form's brilliant, amazing client. And she texted me the other day and she was like, I've done something really dodgy, like I can't stand up properly, I can't move. So it's like, right, go and see someone. Went to see someone, and she was like, and she did it when she was sneezing, right? So she sneezed. Which is like, she's super strong, like leg presses, like hundreds of kilos, like trains like 5 times a week, right? And she'd popped a rib out, which had then like done something to her lat, and like, I don't know, like strained a lat or something. So she had to like get this rib like popped back into place from sneezing.
That's a story.
Yeah, I know.
That's a story. So yeah.
So yeah, careful, guys.
That's actually quite funny. From sneezing, she popped a rib.
Sorry, Beth.
We're not taking the piss out of you. Right, next question. What have you got?
Fine. Okay, I'm gonna go through some of my the ones that I've got that are like a bit. Some of these are very, very generic, right? And I feel like we could do a whole podcast on this. So what we'll do like a brief overview, but then we'll save them and we'll do a full podcast on the later dates.
Okay.
So top 3 to 5 tips on the day of the comp.
Oh, first top tip, stay off your feet and try not to get overly excited, because this is what I got told off with I mean, it's not a major one, but like, because you'll be so excited, you'll see people, you'll want to take so many photos and so many pictures. Like, yes, you want to enjoy the day, and yes, you want to take photos and stuff, but remember, you've got to stay off your feet because you've got to reduce the amount of fatigue that you accumulate before you step on stage. Yes. It's hard not to be like, I remember I was like up and down, walking with my friends and doing all that. And Tom would catch me and he'd tell me off big time. He'd be like, Sania, go backstage. He'd be like, sit down and put your feet up. He was like, take your heels off. Why are you posing again? And I'd be like, I want a video. And he's like, Sania, just chill, please. Whatever you do, just sit down.
Relax. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I think it's easy to get like hyped
just
up, isn't it?
Excited.
Yeah, I would say for that, be present in the day, because I feel like when not the first time, but when I like properly competed, as in like in 2020, whenever it was, 2021, I feel like I was like trying to film loads and trying to get loads of photos, which is great. And I would still say like, I wish I'd got more as well, like leading through the prep. But like be present in the day, because it goes so quick, and like enjoy it after. Because I feel like after my show, right, when I was at universe, I just like carried on with work, and I was like, right, work, carry on as normal. And then I didn't like enjoy it and like soak it in enough.
Yeah, it's
and
hard.
then I look back and I'm like, why did I
balance,
just embrace it? And yeah, so I think like just be present and enjoy the day and the week around the show, and take it all in.
I agree. It is just hard to find a balance, because you video too much, you still then don't feel present because you're putting everything on camera. You then don't go on your phone because you want to be present in the day, but then you regret not having any photos. It's quite difficult, but it's more so like, just actually take a sit down and think,
I made it.
Did that, or I'm literally just about to step on stage, like just like I said, just chill, like just have a moment to kind of just think, well, you got there, like you got there. My other advice, what would it be on show day? Oh, okay, I've got one. Pack your show day bag 2 weeks in advance minimum, because when you are 2 weeks out, you have more time. But when you're on peak week, somehow you have zero time. Like somehow you have zero time, and you are not going to want to be going into town. You are not going to want to be stressed if the Amazon delivery of your resistant bands haven't come. You don't want to be stressed about, potentially not having something come in time. Have everything ready to pack at least 2 weeks out, because then it's done. Then you don't need to go and get anything. Hire your hotel, figure out your transport like at least a month before your show. Like just do everything ASAP.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't really have any more. I think the other one would be like, make sure you are on time, like pumping up and backstage, because the last thing you want.
I don't get how people are late. I'm sorry. If you're the person who's late, how the fuck are you late? How are you not here? How are you not stressing out? Like, am I going to be on stage yet? Am I going on stage yet? Like, genuinely, I think I saw it at the World. They had to call over so many times. Like, if this is your category, you're on in 5 minutes. Like, I would not be looking around the expo before my show time going, la, 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 la. That's a really nice monster jumper. I don't get it.
But yeah, just going, I think I was literally on the backstage people. I was like, is it my category yet? Like every 2 seconds. So I think like just go and make sure you're on time, because the last thing you want is to be like stressing. That actually happened to me. I can't remember which show. I feel like it might have been.
I was there. No, I feel like I was there when you were stressing. Was it not the British?
Oh, I don't know. But one of them I literally turned up like literally 2 minutes before I was about to go on.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
I think it was the Manchester qualifier because I think I got into the overall and then I think I was like really literally just walked backstage when they were like literally about to go on. So don't do that.
I'm just trying to think, is there any more on show day? What on show day? I genuinely, there isn't really much apart from, on the actual show day, you just got to be there.
Yeah.
But that's it. You just turn up.
It's pretty chilled, isn't it? So, okay. You want to ask a next question?
Okay, I feel like this is a really quick one. And I feel like this is something that I just want to get out there as often as I can. Someone said, is your name pronounced Sania? Or is your name pronounced Sania? Or is your name pronounced Sania? Leah, would you like to answer the question? How do you pronounce my name?
The correct answer is option C.
Sania.
Sania.
Honestly, and I hope my clients watch this who say my name wrong, because I don't have it in the heart for me, because where I'm with them for so they'll say it once, and because they're saying it, they'll go, "Hi Sana, are you okay?" I don't want to go, "Oh, sorry, like you're actually saying my name wrong," because I just feel so rude, especially if it's the first time I've met them. I don't want to embarrass them already, because they're already usually quite anxious to go into the session. So then a lot of my clients think my name is like Sania or Sanya.
I did used to think that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
everyone does. Everyone does. But no, it's Sania, okay? It's Sania, just to clarify. But I know no one will ever get my name right. I know no one will.
I get called Lee all the time, which I don't really mind. It's kind of like a cute little nickname.
What? You get called what?
Lee.
Lee?
Yeah.
See, I'd never read your name and think Lee.
Happens all the time.
Fair enough.
Don't really mind it. Anyway, I feel like I've got all the serious cues. Okay, next one.
I've got like none of mine are really that serious, to be honest.
This is a good one. I feel like we could do a whole episode. We're going to do a whole episode in this because this is a good question. Okay. Hacks to survive through prep and expectations during your first prep. So let's do one tip each on hacks to survive prep and then one tip each on expectations during your first prep. Hacks. What's your number one surviving prep hack? I've got mine. I already know what mine is.
Okay, you go first then, because I genuinely don't know.
This literally saved my life, right? When I not to be dramatic, but this literally saved my life last year.
Not to be dramatic, that's very dramatic. It's as if the prep kills you.
Pardon?
As if this prep was about to kill you.
It literally was at one point. So this helped me so much when I was like in the back end, the death end of prep, is set your meal timings, because in my first prep, I literally would have eaten all my meals by like 1 o'clock and then be like, well, now I've got to wait like
12 hours.
A million hours until I can eat a meal, and I would have to like not eat it the rest of the day. So what I did, because you're going to be hungry, right, when you're dieting, so it's really easy, because most people I think will have like set meals on prep rather than macro tracking. I think I do that as well. So I think it's really easy to think, oh, I'm a bit hungry, I'll just have my next meal, and then you get to like 4 o'clock and all your meals are gone and you're absolutely starving. So what I did, I set my meals. It was like, right, my first meal's at 8:30, my second one's at 11:30. So then if it got to 10 o'clock and I was like, oh my God, I'm literally going to gnaw my hand off, I'd be like, well, I've got to wait till 11:30, and that's that. So you know then that, you know, they're your timings. It kind of helps you push through, I think, that hunger.
I agree. And I also think maybe like, you know, like certain drinks that you can have, like Monster Energy drinks and Pepsi Maxes, like maybe just like time when you have them as well. Like wow. Okay.
Can you tell them on a diet?
Leah's full in force. I mean, I think you're struggling more than I am. I'm just cruising through life. Just got some water. And to be fair, I did have a Red Bull, but I always have like an energy drink or like a coffee or something like that.
Well, I've had 2 coffees as well.
You're a caffeine addict. You need to get that sorted.
I only have 2. I have two a day max. That's the coffee
2 a day max
limit.
and an energy drink.
No, I don't have an energy drink.
Oh, okay, you're right then. Beth has something silly like 2 energy drinks, like 3 coffees, a Pepsi Max. Like this is daily. This isn't just on a train. Oh, and she has a pre-workout. Like
Oh
she
God.
genuinely has an issue and it scares me.
I hope she
Um,
never has to have you. She'll have a come down.
I don't know what my advice would be to survive prep.
Prep
Um,
hack.
Prep hack.
Maybe you could say the one about drinks. That's a good one. That was going to be my second one.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. So you know, like dogs when they're like eat all their food really quickly. You know, like you have a small amount of food and they just eat it so quickly, right? This is my metaphor.
Yeah.
What happens is, if you're a dog owner, you'll know this. If your dog eats really quickly, they get bad indigestion and they're still hungry after because they haven't actually taken time to chew their food. Now, this is a two-parter.
Okay.
First of all, take your time whilst you eat, chew your food, and actually like give your stomach a nice kind of break and, you know, enjoy the food whilst you're eating it. Maybe eat your food on your own. I remember at the end of prep, I couldn't have anyone really around me whilst I'm eating because I just wanted to be alone with me and my food. Like anyone talking to me, I'm just like, please just leave me alone. Like I just want to eat my food. Like please leave me alone.
I get that.
But the actual prep hack is you just need to give yourself a slow feeder option. And what I mean by that is eat every single meal when you're like deep into a prep with like a baby spoon or like a really small spoon or like something like that, because it, even though it makes no difference to how much food you're eating, it just will allow you to eat a little bit slower. It will allow you to enjoy the food more. It will in a way last a little bit longer because the surface area of the spoon is a lot smaller, so you psychologically it may just help you a little bit. But does it really do much? Probably not. But will it just kind of maybe alleviate some sort of like hunger? Maybe, because you're eating for longer, chewing for longer, and that kind of stuff. So eat like your dog. Have a slow feeder.
Yeah, I agree. I also really agree as well with the eating by yourself thing. Like you just want to like really focus on your food and enjoy it. Like if you have to like be distracted, I'm like I would have no phone, no TV, literally like quiet room, me, food, no distraction, you know. I feel like that's a very good point.
Even in my off season, I'm like that, unless it's like a post workout meal, and it's just like a weird little like thing that I got into, like because I used to work in at the start of the prep, I was working in I was waitressing, and like they were so good and they knew when I had to eat. But they'd always constantly like put their nose in my food, like, what are you eating? Or they'd go, what is that? Can I try a little bit? Or like they'd try and speak to me about a work matter, and I'm like, can you just let me eat my food? I'm like, you can eat whatever the hell you want and I can't, and I'm trying to enjoy this dry chicken and rice. Just let me try and enjoy it, please. Just leave me alone.
That's actually leads on to another good hack.
Okay, what's that?
Make sure you use nice sauces and season your food because it makes it so much nicer.
But do that in an off season as well, because if your food's really high and you've not got food that you actually like the taste of, your appetite's going to go straight away as well. So like that's where people go wrong, is they try and make their food taste really nice in a prep and then like go really lazy in an off season, and that's why their appetite is so sharp, because they don't enjoy the food that they're eating.
I did that.
Yeah, I did that as well. And then I saw someone on the store on like one of my Instagrams saying like, you do realize you actually have to enjoy your food to want to eat your food. And I was like, makes sense. As simple as it sounds.
That's what I'm gonna do it does. I'm gonna do that when I come off this diet, because I was like, why am I just eating like plain rice and plain chicken? Like I could literally like I have 3 calories every day, right? I could buy like a nice sweet and sour sauce and make like sweet and sour chicken and like rice and, you know, make like a chicken curry or something. So I'm going to really watch out for my sick meal inspo coming up soon.
This is it. Like you just got to remember, like not everyone's like hardcore chicken and rice and boom, that's it. Like, so like Reese does it. Reese literally, I don't think I've seen him eat anything different since I've been with him, apart from like a few off plans. But like he's a robot. Like he's definition of robot. Me, on the other hand, I'm not like that. I'm very much a balanced kind of individual, and I respect my food, and not that he doesn't respect it, but like I respect flavor, and I like look for flavor, and I look for like sauces, and I'm a massive foodie. And then I then get lazy because I'm eating so much food, and then I hate it even more. And it's like, well, why do you hate the food? Because you're not enjoying it. Like, I actually have to have the aspect of enjoying food, whether he could literally just eat and that's
Yeah.
it.
That's what Will's like. I think that's a girl thing, you know, because I feel like when I'm like in off season or whatever, I like to change my food up.
Yeah,
Whereas,
I'm the same.
like,
Every day's different.
yeah, like I'll make like beef or whatever and put like Lord Grossman sauce or Domino sauce in it and make like a bolognese and have like pasta with it or whatever, a bit of cheese, some like garlic. Whereas will literally eat, actually does have sauces now, but he was literally eating like a bowl of rice and plain chicken with ketchup like mixed like on top of it.
Honestly,
It's that
that's
boy thing.
that's really, so apart from he has paprika on his chicken, and that's
Oh,
it.
it's a bit more exotic.
And he has ketchup.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's literally it. It's
Yeah.
genuinely, sometimes I look at his food and I'm like, but he enjoys it. Like, he just doesn't care. He has no association with food whatsoever.
Yeah. I
So,
think that's definitely a girl thing. I think girls are definitely more like food
foodie.
attached. Yeah, foodie. Yeah, that's what I meant.
So I've got a question that is advice. Essentially someone's asking for advice on what they should do. So I'm assuming this is a guy who needs help from a girl's perspective. Not that I think that he's potentially going to listen to this, but anyway, it may be good. So it may be a female to a male. It may be. So my gym crush keeps staring, but when I get close, okay, it is a guy. But when I get close, she puts her head down. What should I do? Is she interested? She keeps staring, but
she might be shy.
might be shy. Just go for it, I'd say.
What have you got to lose? If she says no, at least you know.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I would just shoot your shot, and then you never know if you just got to you can't be scared of failing. You just got to go for it, and you may succeed. But if you don't, like was it our first podcast that we said this? No, it was the podcast that wasn't Anything Goes. It was the podcast between me and you on your podcast.
Oh, okay.
Where we were like, we said something like, you never know if you'll succeed or fail unless you try. So you've got to do it, and then
the bullet.
That's it. Just go for it. To be honest, I feel like at the gym, like, even though people say it's like not a really good place to like actually ask people out, I feel like that's actually where most people in the industry meet people, like, is at the gym.
Well, because you have things in common, don't you? It's like I'm not being funny, but I would not be with someone that wasn't training.
No, I wouldn't.
So like, where else would I meet someone?
Yeah, literally.
Just go up to someone in a restaurant and be like, do you go to the gym?
I see you have some deltoids. do you go to the gym? But yeah, I'd just go for it. I feel like if I was single and I was interested in someone, I would walk past them, for example, I would probably shoot my shot as a female, but it wouldn't be like straight up, do you want to go out? Yeah. It would be like a, hi.
How are you?
Just, like, start making like general conversation. Maybe don't show that you're trying to hit on her. Maybe just try and actually gauge how she is as a person.
Yeah.
That kind of
don't go in too hard.
Yeah, don't be like, you don't be one of those creepy men at the gym, because that's not good. Just like, maybe just try and be her friend first.
Good plan. Right. We didn't answer the second part of that question.
Oh shit, sorry.
Expectations during your first prep, which I think is I feel like we could do a whole podcast on
there's
first preps, all that palaver. Let's do like one or two each expectation.
I think one expectation is that people think prep is so different and so hard, because people preach like how difficult it is and how hard it is, and just like, when you start a prep, nothing really changes, and it is hard. Like, it's hard for maybe like the last 6 to 4 weeks, but it's not, I don't know how to explain it. Like, expectations, don't expect it to be hard from the very set go, because if you're in your head going, it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard, you're going to make it harder for yourself. So when it actually gets hard, it's going to be unbearable. Yeah. Did I say that okay? I didn't know if I explained it.
That makes sense. But I do also think, like, off the back of that, I remember like on my last prep, there were literally days where I was like, why on earth am I putting myself through this hell?
This hell. No, I agree. It's it is so hard. Like, expect it to be difficult, but don't try. It's so hard to explain.
I know what you mean.
Expect it to be difficult because it is hard. Like, prep's hard, not everyone can do it. But then don't go into it like thinking straight away it's the hardest thing in the whole entire world. And don't expect, to like, it's really hard to explain because it is hard, but it's also like there's moments of prep that shouldn't be hard. What's going on?
He's just walked in and curled up and gone to sleep on the floor.
Oh, that's cute. Is he like in a little? Is he in like a little circle?
Yeah.
Head down, belly up.
Yeah. I feel like Pippi.
Right, what's yours? If you want.
To be fair, that will be mine. What I just said, like, expect that this is kind of contradicting what you just said, but not in the first half. But I think like I had a really tough bit in the middle of my prep where I was like pushing and pushing and pushing, and like that is literally mentally the hardest thing that I think pushing through that was like so mentally tough because I was so like drained, like just so like, exhausted literally, and having to get yourself on the stairs for like an hour when you wake up and you're starving and you're like, fuck, I've got to go on the stairmaster for an hour, I've got to drive to the gym, I've got to drive back, I've then got to go out for a walk for an hour before I can even eat, and I'm already absolutely starving. I think that was the hardest bit of prep for me. Like I would wake up in the night hungry, not be able to go back to sleep, wake up in the morning so hungry, and then be like, I've got like 2 hours of exercise to do before I can even eat anything.
Yeah.
And then I was eating like egg whites.
You know what, like prep is hard. Like, I'm not saying it's not hard, and I'm not saying you shouldn't find it hard. I'm more so saying like there are parts of prep that are hard, and you should expect
not the whole prep though.
But not the whole prep. Like, the whole prep is not hard. Like right now, if you were to ask me, is prep hard? No. Like, it's not. Ask me again in a few weeks' time. Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
First 10 weeks are pretty chilled.
Huh?
First 10 weeks are pretty chilled, aren't they, I would say?
Yeah. You experience, like, like, oh, I'm actually feeling a little bit hungry because you hopefully should have started your prep, feeling like you didn't want to eat. So the thought of feeling hungry is kind of like new to you, and like you're feeling a little bit healthier, you're getting a little bit leaner. So those are the changes, and then it's when you kind of like have to dig. But other expectations, expect to work hard. Don't slack. Like, the expectation is that everything needs to be ticked off. Like, there's some people that I hear, like go on a works do and eat food out, or like, certain things where they're not 100%, and I'm like, how is that even an option? There is no option. No. When you are going into a competition, when you're dieting, whatever, maybe there is some balance, that you can have. But when you're dieting for a competition, and if you take it seriously and respect the sport, you should know what it takes. And it doesn't take 99% work. It takes 100 fully.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that it with the question?
That's that question for need. I mean, I've got loads more, but you do your next one.
We do like 2 more questions each, and then shall we finish up there?
Yes, and then to be fair, maybe we could do like a part 2.
Yeah, of like the questions. Oh, actually, do I have? Okay, so this is a good one that we can answer. I'm gonna rephrase it to more like a preppy kind of way. So it's basically saying how does your sex life differ from an off season to a prep, when you both of you are either prepping, or B, when just yourself you're prepping? Do you find that your sex drive kind of deteriorates, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good question, and I think this is something really important to consider if you are with someone that isn't competing.
Yeah,
because I think this will require a sit down chat.
Yeah. It's not you, it's me, and I don't mean that as in any other way. It's genuinely just me.
Yeah, I still love you. Like, you're still attractive, but don't come within a 2 meter radius of me for the next 8 weeks, please.
Literally. Give me 1 second. Sorry. My laptop was about to die, so I needed to go grab a charger. As you are, as you were saying.
And what's the same?
You're saying it's
Oh yeah,
a
so
station.
oh yeah, definitely. I think if you're with someone that has prepped before, then they probably understand. But I think, like, literally, I mean, I'll speak from my experience and then you can speak from your experience.
Yeah.
But like, when you are starting to obviously lose a bit of weight, you're like, oh my God, yeah, like you kind of think, oh, well, surely that'll make things better because, you know, you'll start to lean, there's some like abs, like, yeah, brilliant. But reality is, when you cannot sleep, right? And you are waking up every hour in the night and you are like hungry, the last thing you want to do is have sex.
You just don't, it's the last
In
thing
my opinion.
on your mind. Like,
Yeah, I just had absolutely like nothing, nada, no sex drive at all for like, I would probably say the last half of my prep.
really?
Yeah,
This is
from like
kind
8 weeks, I was like,
of, wow.
I think we were both the same.
Oh, what, you and Will? I was
Yeah.
different, and I find it weird. I've got a very high sex drive anyway. I think naturally I'm just like I just have a high sex drive. Don't know why I was going to explain why I have a high sex drive. I just have a high sex drive. So so like I feel like, for me, did I lose my sex drive completely? No, I definitely didn't. Like, I still, had that there, but was it as strong? No, it definitely wasn't. Did definitely kind of go, and it wasn't ever the first thing on my mind, or it was never like something that I would come to Reese's and expect. But if it was to happen, I'd be down for it. But this is where
Yeah.
I struggled a little bit, because I had never prepped before, Reese had never prepped before, and he lost his like quick. He lost his sex drive very,
Yeah.
very, very quickly. And for me, I was still like, la 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 la, I want sex, I want sex, I want sex. Like, I still had a really, really high sex drive. And for me, like, even though I
Yeah.
knew why, it was still hard, because I still had the sex
Yeah.
drive and I still had the want. And it's just coming to terms with, I know it's not me. It's just very sexually frustrating if you do have a good, like, if you keep your sex drive. But then when it came to like 3 weeks, 4 weeks out, don't get me wrong, it definitely was like, not, it's, if it was, if I could just lie there and do nothing, I'd happily do it. But like, would I insinuate it and go for it first? Probably not. But it is like, if you do
Yeah.
have a partner, like, you do have to have the chat, and you also just like, even though maybe you don't have the energy to, just reassure them, like, every time, like, any moment that you can, that you still love them, and that, like, you just not being able to show them in like a physical manner. You don't have the energy, because even though you could say like, oh, I've had one, I've already spoken to you about it this one time, like, yeah, you may have spoken about it, but like, some people just need that reassurance.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I think it's probably definitely something that needs like talking through if your partner has never prepped before, because I think it's really important to talk about that probably.
It's a massive factor in a relationship. Like, maybe not for some, but for the majority, like, it's a major
Definitely.
it's definitely a major thing. Right.
Yeah, good cue. Um, okay. So, sorry, you're just a little bit lagging. I'm just making sure I'm not talking over you.
Oh, sorry.
Right. So, next question. Bikini advice, best places to buy a posing suit, sizing for this in terms of from off season into prep.
Well, I've never gotten my posing bikini anywhere else apart from Time to Shine. So I am obviously going to only recommend her, because I've not had any experience with anyone else. From the clients, a lot of my clients who have purchased her stuff before, they're all really happy with it. And to be honest with you, what she does is, with posing suits, she will get your measurements, and she'll basically make them adjustable so that you can adjust them bigger but also smaller from the size that you actually are. Now, when you get teeny tiny, it is very difficult, you know, to find the balance because there's probably a lot more fabric than you need there, even if you do adjust it. So you may or may not just need to get another one for prep, or just literally go in your bra and knickers. Like, it's not a major issue. But when it comes to like bikini and stuff, like, she usually takes measurements at like, I think 4 weeks out. But then even so, like, she's been able to make adjustable show day knickers as well for bikini girls. Yeah, which no one else does. So that's really handy, because if you do come in a little bit more than expected to at 6 to 4 weeks out, you can adjust it. So quite cool. I mean, you get your bikini from someone else, don't you?
Yeah, so I've always been with Sammy. So she's done my last 3 bikinis now, and also my posing suit. I use the same posing suit from prep all the way into off season. It does get a little bit tight. It does dig in a bit. Probably need to get a second one. I'm actually going to order a new one. But yeah, hers have always been really good. I've had all my comp ones from her as well, and so what normally they do is they'll ask for measurements at the start when they're making it, and then I sent my measurements to her. I think it was about maybe 8 weeks out, and then I sent them again at 4 weeks, and then we did an in-person fitting. So I do always think, like, I've always had in-person fittings like 4 weeks out, because mine have always needed adjusting a bit. So I just personally, you don't have to do this, but personally it just makes me feel better knowing that I've tried my bikini on like in enough time for it to get adjusted if it needs adjusting. And it's quite easy for them to like unpick it and sew it back together in a slightly, you know, different place, because it's not going to be massive on you. So yeah, but I think this year because Kayla, I've always worked with Kayla for my posing, and obviously she's opened a new studio in in Manchester. So I think I'm just going to go and kind of go with Black Ice, because obviously they're like next door to each other. So yeah, I think I'm actually gonna mix it up this year and with her. But yeah, I think it's pretty easy, isn't it? Because you just submit your measurements and then they'll ask you if they need more measurements. But you can go and get in-person fittings, which I think are really, really useful.
One thing that I would say though is, remember, bikini makers can only make a certain amount of bikinis within the month. So even though you're not choosing your size, your color, or whatever at like 18-20 weeks out, or even before prep, if their slot is open for the time that you need it, aka let's say September, trust me, they get up quick. Even like, just pay the deposit, even though you don't know what color you want, you don't know what size you'll be, pay the deposit, then you know that you'll have your bikini done by then. And then later, like, I know Nat does like a pay now design later, where you'll just pay, and then like you can literally, she'll message you when it's time, but she only takes on like, I don't know how many people, but only a certain amount of people per month, because that's all she can do.
Yeah.
So just book in with them ASAP, but it doesn't mean you need to know what you want yet.
Good point. Also, with the posing bikinis as well, you can submit measurements for those. So I know, like, for example, I was looking on Black Ice's site earlier, they will ask you for your measurements for the posing suit, so it can be made to like measure again. So don't worry about, you know, knowing your size, because they will literally make it for you.
Personalized.
So yeah.
That's why they're expensive, because they fit you and you only, pretty much. Unless someone's a similar size to you. But that's why the adjustable part's really good, because
that's a good idea.
we go through such a fluctuation of like weight and stuff like that. Should we do one last question?
Let's do one more each.
Yeah. So mine's just again, not a serious one. Mine is if you were to be granted 3 wishes, what would they be?
God, that's really hard.
3 wishes.
Let me think about this.
What would my first one be? I think like my first one would be my health.
Yeah.
Good health. That would be my first one. And then something selfish. I would wish for a successful career with lots of income and a big house. selfish part. And then my third wish would be, oh God, I don't know what my third one would be.
I can't answer this question. It's too hard.
No, you've got to. You've got to have one that you genuinely like want. It could even be a superpower. I wish I could read people's minds.
Oh, I don't know if I'd like that.
That'd be dangerous. Do one that's selfish. What is it that you've always ever wanted? Whether that be a car, a house.
So, okay.
Got to want something, surely.
To be fair, like the house I'm living in now is literally like my dream house that me and Will saved up for all the way through lockdown. So I don't think like we are talking about this actually the day we're like, what if we won the lottery, like what would we do? But I don't think we would like move because it's like I really like where we live. It's like nice. Yeah, so that I'm happy with that. Oh God, this is such a hard question.
There has to be
I mean,
something.
okay. One thing I would love to obviously like I don't know. I mean, I would like a nice car, but I'm not bothered about like, something like that. I would be my dream, my car that I've actually been looking at that I really, really want to get is the it's the Audi, the e-tron one, the fully electric one, because I can put that through my business. If it's an electric car, you can put it through your business.
Yeah.
So I am actually looking at getting a new car, but I'm just trying to weigh up whether the money's worth it. So I don't know if that would be a wish though. That's something that I would like, because I've never had like a nice car before, because I've always been like, I'm not spending money on like that. Like I put a lot of money back into my business on like coaching or courses or like videography and stuff like that. So I feel like I don't spend that much money on like me as such, So
what is it? Come on, like
hey, I've got one.
Okay.
I would love to. This isn't really a wish though. Oh God, this is really hard.
I wish in 5 years I had a successful career in a big house. Something similar like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the business, yeah, I would love to have like be able to help more women, to be able to reach a bigger client base, to be able to have like multiple different products that can help multiple different women rather than just like a one-to-one service. Maybe have like a bespoke service that's like really high level that has like one-to-one calls where I can really build on what I've got. And then I would love to have some sort of like group or community-based coaching program that is like cheaper where more girls can get involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I can like reach more people, like grow a bigger social media following, like get more people into my business. And like, I would love to do like events and meetups, because that for me is like, that's what I love about the coaching, like the one-to-one, the getting to know people side of things. So I would love if I could like travel around like the country and the world doing like events and helping people and running, I don't know, I just think that would be like amazing. So I'd love to be able to like grow a massive business where I can help loads of people and like travel the world, basically meeting my clients and like doing events with them.
See, that's a wish. We finally got one.
Yeah. Okay, that's one.
Are we even going to try with the next two with you?
Yeah, okay. Number 2 will be I would love to have a really, really nice car. I feel like that's right, because I have this one. I'm like, yeah, but I have this thing where I'm like, if I like got this nice car, I then would feel like bad for sharing it, because I'm like, I don't want to seem showy off,
I thought that when I got like my car, but at the end of the day, like you work hard.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but like you working hard provides you what you can buy. And like it's not like you got it handed to you. If your parents bought it for you, then maybe people would question, but you've worked hard for it, it's your money. So in my head I was like, fuck this, like I'm not showing off because I want people to think I have it. I'm showing it off because I've worked hard for it, and I just want to I just want to share it. I want to share the fact that I've worked this hard to be able to afford things like this, which I never thought I'd be able to afford.
Yeah, because it's like I've been coaching now for like 7 years, and I've never bought, like I've always just had like a run around car. So in my head I'm like, I would just love to have like a really nice car, because I do drive quite long distances to like go and see Dan or to meet clients or to like train with people, and I just think, God, I would like love like a nice
Trust me, it's so much nicer to travel in. Like I've had shitty cars my whole life, and then I finally got a nice car, and I was like, I actually like driving now, because it isn't shit.
Yeah, so that's like a big dream. God, God, I think the
I
third
don't
one
think
would
there's
be
a
to
third
like
one.
just be like happy and like be able to like enjoy life and travel and see my family and
Kind of not a wish, but a wish.
cuddle my sausage dogs.
I wish to have 3 more sausage dogs.
I wish to have a sausage dog clan.
That wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. Right, let's do one more question and then we should probably get off. I don't know
Okay,
how long this podcast has been.
ages, but I've got loads more questions left.
We'll do a part 2 to the questions.
Okay, right, you do yours. Hello.
I've done mine. I've done my 3 wishes.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll do one more. Oh God, okay. Do we want like a Actually, I'll do this one. This one's quite a good one, and then we'll do some others later. When's best to do cardio/weight sessions during prep if you're feeling fatigued?
Personally, for me, I love getting up in the morning, going for a walk, doing my cardio, getting home, eating, getting work done, eating, training. Boom. I personally do not like doing cardio workout because I already feel shattered. And it means that for me, I think if I know I have cardio after my training session, I probably like will feel demotivated throughout my whole session, or I probably won't put enough work into my session because I know I'm going to do cardio. During the cardio, it will go really, really slow. I just will feel like I'm at the gym for such a long period of time because it's all in one. So my preferred is in the morning and then leave, do what I need to do, and then go back and train.
Exactly the same as me. I actually tried doing my cardio pace workout recently, when I first started dieting. And honestly, I literally thought I was going to faint and fall off the stairmaster. And this is when my food wasn't even low, so I just couldn't do it in prep because I would like fall off the treadmill or whatever else on the stairmaster.
Yeah,
So I'm the same as you. Get up, get it done before your brain's had time to process what's going on. I also, sorry, my dogs have just started fighting. Also, I think I take my work phone with me in the morning
you can
and I
work.
won't look at it. So then I can just reply to all my messages. So like by the time I've like replied to Instagram messages, replied to my clients, like done any little admin jobs, my cardio is pretty much done. And to be fair, I can't do that when I get further into prep because my brain like won't function properly when I'm doing the cardio, but it passes it so much better. And then I think if I get up, do my cardio, do my steps, by the time I've sat down to do work at like 8:30, 9, whatever time it is, somewhere around there, it's like done.
Yeah.
And then you can get some food in, like get my check-ins done in the morning, train at lunch, and then it just breaks it up a bit.
100%. I agree. Like I don't think I've ever done cardio post-workout unless I've had to, and I just don't like it personally. Like I just genuinely don't. But
I'd rather go
they're all
twice to the gym.
different. If you have to do it because of like time constraints and work and stuff like that, then obviously I don't actually, unless you're like taking some sort of supplement that requires you to be fasted, there's no real difference to really when you do it. So it doesn't really matter. It's more so a preference, like I said, unless you're taking like a supplement which requires you to be fasted.
Agree. Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of questions, a lot of good ones. So what we'll do is we kind of know kind of what you want to talk about. You clearly all want a little bit of a balance, a little bit of like lighthearted questions, but then questions generally that you kind of want to know the answer to. So we will definitely do a part 2 of the questions and also see if there are any other questions that you want to ask. So we'll keep putting question boxes up when we decide to do questions. And yeah, anything you do want to know, obviously ask on here. Of course, we want it to be a little bit, a mixture. We don't want it to be just the classic bodybuilding one. So I feel like we did quite a good job at, doing a few bits where it was like advice and then a few bits where it was like jokey.
I agree. Yeah. And some of these as well, like I've got a question that's like advice for first time shoots. Like we can do a whole podcast on like if you're doing a shoot. I've got one like clothing around prep. We could do a whole podcast on like body image around, going into off season. So there's questions that we haven't done where we will literally do like a whole podcast on them.
So if you haven't answered your question yet, do not fear. We will get to it. So thank you so much for listening to Anything Goes with Sania and Leah. I hope you have enjoyed. If you can, give it a like, give it a share and a comment if you wish. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, guys.